I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about it.
Happy days.
It's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand. These days.
Feel like shit. My suggestion is to keep you a distance. 'Cause right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
And if my day keeps going this way, I just might.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I like a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 119 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. How is everyone doing this fine Thursday evening? So there was no stream on Tuesday because obviously Jodie came back, and I believe I've only caught just a little bit of it. I did catch some of the moments where people were bringing up wallpaper nationalism, which was pretty epic. But of course, it was nice to see Jodie come back onto the scene after a week of absence due to the fact that YouTube were being incredibly gay by giving her a strike because she dared to talk about COVID or all of that stuff that was going down with her guest Blackbird. But she's back nonetheless, and hopefully I really need to have her on at some point on the show because I said to her at the very first ever PA Scotland conference last year that I was going to have her on the show if she wanted to come on, and I think vice versa. But I definitely need to have her on at some point when she's available. Anyway, let's have a look and see who's in the chat just now, and I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces, of course, as per usual. Gizzy Stripe, good evening. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Gammon Sandwich, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. English Rose is with us. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mood of the Nation. Well, thank you very much. Bill Athling, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Rigor Mortis, again, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. There was my message. Roy Herbert, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation, as always. Jose, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Steve Shaw, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. So I see quite a few people in the chat so far, which is really good. 15 people watching the show already. Again, really good stuff. Hopefully there'll be more people coming along, but we'll definitely see more to that later on. Now, I'll be probably doing the stream about for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, or maybe about an hour and 15. Not entirely too sure. Let's just say that I will be going away this weekend, somewhere different for the time being. So, Ragnar Iron Spear, thank you very much as always for coming here and watching Mood of the Nation. Greatly appreciate you being here. I do apologize for being late. I was just sorting out a couple of tweaks here and there, but everything's all sorted out now, so it all should be fine and dandy. Let me see here. Just gonna pull up my microphone and of course my camera here. That should be fine. Excellent. Again, thank you as always. Thank you very much. Like the stream, folks. Indeed, thank you very much for pointing that out, Gammon. Please, folks, like the stream and also share the stream if you can on other platforms, whether it be Telegram, Gab, or Twitter. Again, if you're still on that, Instagram. I don't know how you would do that, but I mean, if you can, then that would be awesome as well. Just so that it gets a bigger reach out there. Steve Cray, thank you very much again for watching Mood of the Nation, as always, of course. Right then, folks. Let's just get right into the meat and potatoes here. So, I do have a couple things to talk about for this evening, and depending on what time it will be for later on, Mr. Moody's naughty weekend. Oh, come on, it's not gonna be naughty. I'll be a good boy for the weekend. I'll definitely be a good boy. So, Illuminatus, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation as always. Right, let's get right into the meat and potatoes here. And anyone who comes onto the stream just now, again, welcome and thank you for watching Mood of the Nation. I wouldn't say the flagship show of any PA content, but hey, it's PA content nonetheless. Kitchen Skillet, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Right. Anyway, without further ado, let's just get right into it, shall we? Now, I don't want to toot my own horn or be that guy, as I said, or maybe I expressed this opinion in the past before regarding to British politics or in terms of prime ministers and all of that. But as we all know from the news, of course, after the humiliation, I don't know if you want to call it a ritual or maybe a humiliation of Liz Truss resigning as prime minister after only being the prime minister for only 44 or 45 days in office. There was a lot of talk as to who exactly would become the next prime minister after Liz Truss. There were talks about like Boris Johnson might be coming back, but of course, surprisingly, he didn't come back at all. He actually dropped out of the race. There was some other person whose name escapes me, but I don't think anyone really gives a shit at this point. But long story short, Rishi Sunak is now the British Prime Minister of Great Britain. Which was quite a first, considering a lot of people have even pointed out, even as of late, regarding to this, that he's basically the first ever well, people say he is British, but basically the first Indian or the first. Right, he's not British. We all know for a fact he's not British. He's Indian. So basically, a non-British person who's actually the Prime Minister of Great Britain. Inshallah to you too, Streaky Bacon. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. So, sorry, as I said at the start of the stream, I don't want to toot my own horn or be that guy, but I kind of called it. I kind of course, I don't want to come off like a pretentious douchebag and say, oh, I knew this from the very start, because anything could have happened at that point. But just to see the news and seeing all of the reactions from this news of Rishi Sunak, sorry. I mean, I think it was pretty much inevitable. I knew for a fact that he was going to be the next PM after Liz Truss. I thought, right, there's no other person, but it's going to be Rishi Sunak. He looks like Sunak is handpicked by his Zionist occupiers. Only difference between him and Boris Johnson is he has brown skin. Another little humiliation to keep on the white indigenous on our road to replacement. Yes, I agree. So, if a funny thing with that in terms of Rishi Sunak being the Prime Minister of Great Britain, because as we all know, it's also kind of not debated, but a lot of people would argue, which is the British national anthem. Well, at this point in time, I think, and this is just my opinion, of course, take it or leave it, but I think because Rishi Sunak and a lot of people have. Rishi Sunak is not British. I agree, he's an Indian. We all know that for a fact. But just to make this point real quick about Rishi Sunak as the British Prime Minister, it's kind of been discussed, or again, I don't know if you want to call it debated, but about which British national anthem is the proper British national anthem, because I think there's about three or maybe like a mixture of them. But I think, in my humble opinion, regarding to this overall, I think it's going to be a chance that it might even change at some point. So, folks, it's no longer going to be God Save the Queen or Land of Hope and Glory, or it's not even going to be Rule Britannia. In my personal opinion, I think it's going to be like another song that's going to be the next British national anthem, since, as I said, Rishi Sunak is now the British Prime Minister. And I think you've all may have heard of this song before, but I wouldn't be surprised if any of the globalist elite, in fact, I can't even say globalist elite, because, well, globalist, because it's apparently anti-Semitic to say, but, fuck it, I'll say it anyway. But I wouldn't be surprised at this point in time, just to really... another kick to the balls, if you want to call it that. They might possibly even change or have this song as the new British national anthem. I mean, it would kind of make sense because Rishi Sunak being the Prime Minister. But but yeah, so just thought I would point that out. But yeah, so that whole thing happened, and I did see all of the reactions to it. I know there was a lot of people who have who've said a lot of pieces about this, but many people from our circles were, of course, were very unhappy about this. As of course, for my opinion, with the whole thing with the news, I was kind of like on the same boat as Laura Towler, because I did see her post about this on Telegram, where she didn't came off as like angry about it, but she was more of, well, I mean, is it really that much of a surprise at this point? And I was actually kind of I was thinking like, yeah, that's actually like me also. Again, I don't want to come off as like, oh, I knew this from the very beginning, but I just kind of felt like, yeah, well, if Liz Truss leaves as Prime Minister, then I think we all know it's going to be Rishi Sunak, because even back in, I think it was maybe like 2020, like during the whole lockdown period with COVID, there were talks about, you know, he was being built up as if Boris Johnson were to leave, that he would be the next, you know, Prime Minister of Great Britain. I think we all know that for a start, but yeah, it's now come to fruition at this point in time, and I'm seeing a lot of people. So apart from the nationalist side of things, who of course were not happy with it, myself, I think Laura Towler, maybe a few others as well, were quite the same, as were quite, what's the word? Maybe again, not angry, but maybe a bit. I don't even want to say like apathetic, but just the idea of, well, is it really that much of a surprise that he's the new prime minister? But Rishi Sunak and his tribal demographic look up to and admire another race of shysters who feast on a Friday night. Sunak and his ilk seek to emulate them, i.e. become parasites and live off a host. Well, I did see a lot of Indian people, of course, were celebrating this. In fact, some were even going as far as to say, like, well, you know, back when Britain was like an empire, you know, they took over India. Well, I think I might be paraphrasing here, but now it's like their way of saying like this is like karma or well, it's not it's like karma of justice, or like karmatic. I don't think karma is even the word, but basically they call it as like a form of karma because of the sins of the past of what Whitey has done with Indians or any other non-whites in the past. God damn it! Here we go with the curry joke. Stop. Here we have to watch what we see, but Rishi's ears will pick up on it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised really, but the white race is the only race that acts colorblind. Oh, well, that's all to do with indoctrination, of course. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Diversity is their strength. I mean, the copyright trademark, if you will, with that. But yeah, so it's kind of funny seeing all the Indian people, you know, talking about this in this way, because again, for a long time, especially with a lot of the established figures in media or politics or anything of the sort, we always turn around and say like Britain has always been a multicultural society. There's no such thing. Well, we're all one race, the human race, and there's all that. Color is all blind and all of that. Despite the fact that's mostly been told to like white people, but other races, it's fine for them to be a collective and get together as one. But white people doing it, well, you just want to bring back the dreaded, you know, the Germans and what they did during World War II. What was the other thing I was going to say about that? There was a lot more to make a point about that, but then of course seeing the reactions from the Indians and talking about how this is almost like karma and what Britain, especially back in the day when it was an empire, did to the Indians with you know, colonizing like India and whatnot. But belated happy to Diwali, by the way, Chief Media. Thank you very much, Roy Herbert. It really just paints a picture that we're clearly living in an anti-white society. And I think this whole thing with Rishi Sunak, in fact, people in the chat have already pointed this out already, that this is basically another humiliation ritual that's going on just now. So now at this point in time, I'm actually very curious to see what the reactions would be for both the Conservative Party and the Labour Party. I mean, I think I kind of seen that briefly on last night's PA talk. I did watch that for a little bit, and they were going through the section, as they normally call it, called Libtard of the Week. And of course, they were seeing a lot of tweets from Labour and Tory PMs and all of that. We're basically going back and forth like, oh, well, here we have the first Indian Prime Minister and the first Indian Conservative as the Prime Minister. You know, what does Labour have, and blah, blah, blah. It's just like it's not only just like actually it's not only just virtue signaling, but it's also just a way of pointing out that both sides are basically nowhere anywhere different from each other. I mean, Labour, as we all know, are basically a hard left or far left communist type of party at this point. I mean, they call each other comrades for fuck's sake. Whereas the current Tory party are basically nothing but they're anything but conservative. There's nothing remotely conservative about them. So then there's a lot of talks from what I've seen, like what would happen now since Rishi Sunak is now the Prime Minister of Great Britain. There's been a lot of talks from many people, especially with among our side of things, that some people say this is like a huge black pill for a lot of people. Like this is like another humiliation ritual, which I can see where they would be coming from with that. But then there's the other side of it would say, well, actually, if you think about it, maybe this might be a blessing in disguise. And they explain it as if it comes to the point, if stuff continues the way they are, because look, the Tories can cope all they want about how we got the first Indian prime minister in our circles and blah blah blah. But if shit continues the way they are in terms of a lot of people are not happy with the way things are, the fact that they just constantly bring in more and more immigrants into the country, then it's going to come to the point people are just going to just lose faith in the Tory party altogether and probably will start voting for Labour. Now, I think we all know for a fact that the Labour, if they were to get into power, we all know for a fact that they would be just as bad, if not worse, than the Tory party in terms of promoting diversity, including like hate speech laws and all of that. But I think it will also awake people a lot more in terms of what exactly we're dealing with here. Because I think people are starting to notice things. I think people are starting to wake up of what exactly we're dealing with in terms of both the Labour and Conservative parties in Great Britain. There honestly are nowhere any different to each other. They're getting too cocky too soon. Let them gob off and alienate real Brits. Exactly, Gammon, exactly. Avzoid, what exactly do the Conservative Party conserve? They are left-wing liberals. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing conservative about them whatsoever. In fact, even when Liz Truss, I'm sure people will know about this already, but when Liz Truss was in office as Prime Minister, I believe she went to like some kind of gathering that was meant to be like part of like Friends of Israel or something like that. I'm not too sure the name of the venue, but again, that speaks volumes of the types of people that not only are they supporting, but the types of people you would say who are really behind the scenes, if you all know what I mean. Zionist Jews. Sorry, I had to cough up. That's a bit of truth. Also, an advocate, Moody, I disagree. Keir Starmer's views are no different from Boris Johnson. Fair enough. Well, yeah, they're pretty much like two sides of the same coin, aren't they? Corbyn was far left, but the Zionists ousted him, got their man Keir. I'm a Zionist, Starmer in his place. Yeah, fair point. Yeah, fair point. Yeah, actually would have been interesting what would happen if Corbyn was still around, but yeah, Rishi's relationship with the SNP will be interesting considering he is anti-Indie Rev 2. That will be interesting. Because I would imagine if that were to come to play for both Rishi Sunak and the SNP, that actually would be really interesting because Sturgeon and of course the SNP ilk can't really say too much because I guess they don't want to be labeled racist or whatever. But I mean, there is that possibility that might happen, but you never know. So that actually would be really interesting. Rigor mortis, really interesting. Diwali has lots of fireworks, but with Ramadan we get the real explosives. And oh god, I mean, you're not wrong, Streaky Bacon. You're not wrong. So there was a Diwali party hosted in Downing Street by Rishi Sunak yesterday. Our ancestors are turning in their graves. I'm actually surprised that they would actually have a party like that. But again, we always get told that, Britain's always been a multicultural society, but then they go as far creating hate speech laws that protects these groups of people. And not only that, but then going about and trying to go through some like history revisionism and trying to make that point when it's obvious that the actual evidence that it's mostly been it's always been a white country or a white society throughout like thousands of years with regard to Britain. But anyway, At that point, so at that event you just mentioned, Truss said she was a Zionist. Mark did a video on it. Yes, I didn't see Mark's video about it, but I did see that he made a post about that, getting people to check it out, of course. But yeah, I do remember seeing that particular clip where Truss said that she was a Zionist. Yeah. So again, that speaks major volumes on that right there. Spooky season in Britain ended up with a werewolf. Dogskin. Dogskin, actually, just real quick, I think I've seen you. I don't know if you watch this channel, Radix Verum. For people that don't know, Radix Verum, or Christina, I think her first name is, or actual name is, she puts it out on her channel anyway. But I watch her from time to time and talking about the recent Darrell Brooks case. Now, I know I did say in the last episode that was a video I was going to cover. I think looking through the overall case, it might be a lot to cover. And then trust me, there's actually a lot I want to cover regarding to the Darrell Brooks case. So there might be a strong possibility that I'll do that episode not on Sunday, because I'll be back on Sunday evening, but I'll probably be doing the Halloween episode on Monday instead. So I'll probably do what will possibly be the first part of the Darrell Brooks case video on Thursday next week. So you'll probably see that then. They're all just different shades of globalist and toe the line of their puppet masters. Oh, Rose, you can't say globalist. That's anti-Semitic, remember? But anyway, but yeah, Dogskin, I think I might have seen you in her chat before. I don't know if that's actually you or maybe a different Dogskin. I don't know, but I just thought I would point that out because I was kind of saying, like, oh, at Dogskin, hey, it's me, Moody, but yeah, didn't want to come off as like, you know, weird or anything like that at all. But I don't know if I was the same you in her chat, but I do watch her from time to time. It was actually a pretty good channel. A lot of people, I was going to say that she's kind of similar to people like Nick Ricata and what was the other, like, all those like LawTube type of channels, but the difference between her and those other LawTube channels is that she's actually pretty based. So yeah, I would definitely check her out when you all can, of course. So what I want to do real quick is I want to see if I can get some clips up of after Rishi Sunak has been elected as the Prime Minister of Britain. Hold on a sec. I think I've seen these on Mark's Telegram. Wait a minute. I want to see if I can maybe dig this up here. And then we'll have a look at this together because I think it's really interesting. Hold on a minute here, folks. Hold on a minute. I also need to get my earphones in just so that I can also listen to it. Right. I did see this. Wait a minute. Bear with me just now, folks. I'll see if I can dig it up. But while I'm looking for this up, there's been a lot of people talking about, especially a lot of the Indian community has been talking about this as well. And there's been a lot of things that have happened since then. But in fact, I'll show this first of all, actually. This is pretty interesting. This is from, well, it's on Mark's Telegram, but it's forwarded from the European Insider. And again, it's an article. I think it's an Indian article, but it's about Rishi Sunak now as the Prime Minister of Great Britain, an Indian Home Secretary, an Indian Prime Minister, and half-black Foreign Secretary. Yeah, it's our ancestors. I think would be happy. I think they would be spinning in our graves right now, because a lot of these like foreign entities are now basically leaders of Britain. It's an absolute embarrassment at this point. Absolute embarrassment. Oh yeah. Telegram. Sure, it'd be this one here. I'm pretty sure people have seen this already, but again, just want to make this point here. India's second most circulated newspaper, Indian name here, celebrates that the UK is now in the hands of an Indian on its homepage after Rishi Sunak was announced as the country's new PM. And there's a quote from the paper, I'm assuming. Rishi Sunak became the Prime Minister of Britain, command of the country that subjugated India for years and is now in the hands of an Indian. Yep, of course, they would, I guess, stir the pot regarding to that, if you want to call it that, but there's more to that. Oh, here's a clip. Now, this clip here is about almost a minute long, but we'll just have a look at this. Will rule Britain for the next 200 years. Indian people react as Rishi Sunak becomes next UK Prime Minister. We'll just have a look at this.
We are naturally very proud of it. Yeah, we are very proud about it.
भारतीय मूल का व्यक्ति
ब्रिटेन का अगर प्रधानमंत्री बनता है, जिस ब्रिटेन ने हमारे भारत के ऊपर अनेकों वर्ष सालों राज्य किया, अगर हमारा कोई व्यक्ति वहाँ पर प्रधानमंत्री बनता है तो ये हमारे पूरे भारतवर्ष के लिए गर्व की बात होगी।
और इंडिया और ब्रिटेन का अच्छा रिश्ते चलेंगे, अच्छा मतलब रिश्ते बने रहेंगे, हमारे लिए अच्छे हैं। इंडिया और ब्रिटेन का रिश्ता अच्छा गहरा होगा।
वो इंडियन रूट है, लेकिन वो इंडियन तो है ही नहीं ना, पूरी बर्थ ही वहीं से है, सारा काम वहीं से है।
Oh, you can't say that. Oh, because because he was. It's this whole idea that he has roots of India, but he's not Indian because he was born elsewhere. No, he is Indian. Just because he was born in another country, that doesn't mean he's not Indian. He's still ethnically Indian. But I guess this guy doesn't really understand the concept of the proper concept of like the blood and soil argument. But anyway.
उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। इंडिया के नाम है, इंडियन लग रहा है।
ब्रिटिश ने हम पे राज किया था 200 साल, अब मेरे को लगता है इंडियन ब्रिटिश पे राज करेंगे फॉर नेक्स्ट 200 years.
This gentleman right here said it. Yeah, like just stirring the pot about that. But I want to see if there's maybe anything else about that. There was actually some more things about the whole Rishi Sunak thing. I want to see if I can get this up. What's this? East Midlands from PA have talked about this as well. Just another Liberal Tory making empty promises. Note that he chose the Daily Mail for his op-ed. We don't need new laws. We need the ones we have to be enforced. And what are these new laws? Rishi Sunak vows to launch a major crackdown on grooming gangs, plus wider efforts to give women the freedom to go out at night without fear. Do you want to press X to doubt on that? I mean, especially with the whole grooming thing, but I mean, especially like this image right here pretty much sums it up, because I don't think he's going to really keep his promise, will he? I don't think he really will with that. But anyway, but we'll see what the East Midlands have wrote about this. The reason they are not enforced is that police are heavily political and are choosing their own priorities, because that's how the system works. Making statements from the top won't work, and he knows that. There needs to be a purge and a total rethink of policing in the UK. The officers who deliberately turned a blind eye and told their subordinates to do the same need to be punished and publicly shamed. That's what PA would do. Will it get it done? No. He will probably be beaten by Keir Starmer, who will continue to sweep it under the rug. He can't even tell you that what a woman is. Well, that's a pretty good point. And not only that, Sunak supports the diversity lie that created the problem in the first place. The fact is that the mass importation of people who resent and despise us has led to the mass sexual enslavement of and torture of British schoolgirls. Yeah, indeed. Is there any other ones with that? Because again, there's a lot of stuff to cover with that as well, with Rishi Sunak. There's Kanye West, but with Kanye West, I'll get to that in just a short moment here about that. Let's see here. I think that might be about it. If there's no more, then we'll probably just move on. Oh no, we'll probably just move on to talking about Kanye West for a moment, because apparently the list of all of the companies who have disowned him has been there's actually a lot more that came out with it. Speaking of which, it's right there. But I'll show that in just a short moment here. But yeah, so there we go with Rishi Sunak. So now he's the prime minister, but a lot of people now are thinking, well, for how long? Because I think, as I said earlier on, if the trends continue the way they are, Rishi Sunak can claim he's going to have promises to keep over and over. But for one thing, it's not going to be a case if he's going to keep those promises, nor is he going to. I don't think he'll be a prime minister for much long, because again, there's come a point where people are just fed up with the Tory party because of broken promises after broken promises. And there's going to be a chance, if there's a general election that's going to be coming up, not sure when exactly that will be, but I wouldn't be surprised if Labour will become the major political party after the Tory party. Because how long has the Tory party been in office for? Has it been about like 15 or maybe more years than that, or something like that? Because I remember when David Cameron got in, I think that was around about maybe 2012, 2011 or something like that. So it's definitely been quite a long time regarding to that fact. So I wouldn't be surprised at this point that people will start voting for Labour just so they can get the Tories out. But yeah, so we'll see to that. So that's the end of that whole nonsense with Rishi Sunak, but let's move on to something else. Let's move on to Kanye West. Now, I talked about Kanye West before and about all the stuff that he's been saying about the Jewish community. Thank you very much, English Rose. In fact, that's actually one thing I was about to do as well. I'm just going to put this part at the bottom of my screen, which are all of the links for my social, well, not links, but channel ads for my social media. So that would be Odysee, Gab, Telegram, you name it. So definitely follow me on those platforms. What English Rose will be doing just now, will be posting the links of those platforms. So if people have not followed me there, definitely do so. So the first thing she has posted is my Telegram. Now, my Telegram, of course, I'll just mention this real quick. My Telegram, of course, is a platform I normally do a lot of updating and give like most other posts of stuff here and there. So if you want to follow me for any any updates of the show or whatever, definitely follow me there. You can also follow me on Gab, Twitter. Again, if you're still on Twitter, I'm actually surprised I'm still on Twitter, even though I hardly ever use it. But still follow me on Twitter if you can. I've now garnered about just over 700 followers, which is pretty based. So yeah, follow. Oh, and just in case if something were to happen to my my YouTube one day, whether it gets yeeted off the platform, and it's for me, Joe Marshall. So thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Welcome along. Now, with my YouTube, just in case if something were to happen, it's not a case of or a matter of will my channel get deplatformed. It's more of a matter of when will it get deplatformed. And if that day comes to fruition, I would highly advise everyone to follow me on Odysee, because if my YouTube channel gets completely taken down, then Mood of the Nation will be streaming exclusively on Odysee from now on after that. So definitely follow me on Odysee if you can. Most of the episodes or videos are on there, but not all of them. But I'll definitely see at some point, if I have enough time, to see if I can actually post more episodes of Mood of the Nation on there on my Odysee, just so that more people can come along and watch them on that platform as well. 40 people in the chat. Moody is getting bigger. Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome to see more people watching the show. Welcome along. Thank you very much for following and also watching Mood of the Nation. There's an English Rose posting my Gab. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much. So then let's move on to the next topic at hand here, which is Kanye West. Now, as I said, I talked about Kanye West before on a previous episode. I think it was episode 117, 116. I'm not entirely too sure, but we all know for a fact of what happened with Kanye West. Of course, he spoke out about the Jews. Well, I would imagine more specifically the Zionist Jews, but ever since that happened, a lot of people have disowned him. A lot of people have tried to shame him, demanding we demand that you apologize to the Jewish community, including that fucker Pierce Morgan, who can't even debate for fucking shit. A lot of companies have completely want nothing to do with them whatsoever. Oh dear. Including his own. Well, there was a bit of a story to that, as it was discussed on Ayatollah's Friday Night Dinner, which you can still see that show on his Odysee, or you can watch it on my Odysee if you can, if you've missed it, of course. And yeah, so but even with the list, it's continuing to grow. It's really continuing on to grow with that. So the next PA meet, everyone will be wearing Yeezys. Yeah, I don't think it will be wearing Yeezys, but yeah. So let's see if I can get the list up. And then what I want to do is I want to have a look into this the stream that was shared across. I don't know if it was Barclay that shared it, or maybe it was someone else from PA, or whether it be True K or someone else. Or St. Harrison. I'm not entirely too sure, but I remember watching this stream from Lex Feldman, I think the guy's name is, and just the amount of dishonesty from this fucking prick. Like, honestly, I couldn't stand it. But before I get into that, let's have a look at the latest list of companies that have completely disowned Ye or Kanye West. Let's have a look at this. So it's a good thing I got Mark's Telegram up, because I want to have a look at this just now. Hold on a minute here. Right. I don't know if anyone can see this, but Let me just get up a minute. Here we go. The Kanye West cancel list as of October 27th, 2022. So the concert at Sophie Stadium has been cancelled. He's been suspended on Instagram and Twitter. The Fox News documentary has been completely scrapped. And speaking of that, he's been banned from Fox News, which is funny because I thought Fox News would be a very conservative type of brand, but we all know for a fact that Fox News are very pro-Zionist and very pro-Israel. So it was not really that much of a surprise that a bunch of conservatives like like Fox News would want nothing to do with him because of his anti-Semitic rhetoric or whatever. The interview on the shop has been cancelled. Drink Champs interview deleted. Banned by JP Morgan Chase. Boycotted by WEME, which I'm assuming that's like a magazine, if I'm not mistaken, or another company. Deal with I can't even fucking say it. Sorry, Balenciaga, I hope I pronounce it right, has been terminated. Boycotted by Vogue magazine. Dropped by CAA talent agent. MRC documentary has been completely scrapped. Boycotted by UTA, disavowed by ex-wife and family. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be too upset by that. They're a bunch of degenerate fucks anyway. Has been banned by the Daily Wire. Now, for those who don't know, what everyone in the chat will know about this already, but the Daily Wire is Ben Shapiro's company, which, again, it's kind of funny that before this whole fiasco happened, they were very, oh man, Kanye West is so based and red pill. He's pro-Trump. He's part of the MAGA movement. He's so fucking based. But then, of course, he speaks out about the Jews, and of course, Ben Shapiro being part of that fucking tribe. No surprise that they decide to completely disown him. So much so, in fact, that they've even asked Candace Owens to never speak to him ever again. Which, I mean, what does that tell you exactly? Actually, I'll get to that in a short moment. But besides that, $1.5 billion Adidas deal has been terminated. $1 billion a Gap deal terminated, boycotted by Foot Locker, disaffiliated from Def Jam. I think it's Def Jam Records, so some jogger rapper company, whatever. Assistant and lawyer resigned. Wax figure removed from museum. I think that's down in London, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, that's been removed. Banned from a Cano Stem player. Banned from Skechers. So the list is just growing and growing and growing. And again, for me, this is just another an attempt to try and get him to not only basically stop what he's doing, but basically as a way of trying to get him to apologize and, of course, take away everything he said about that and be a good goyim, if you want to call it that, which is, I think some people might be saying it in the chat. How funny is it, and this is from Joe Marsh, how funny is it that these people have proved exactly what he said was true? Well, it's funny that these are the same groups of fucking people who will turn around and tell, as soon as Kanye West said that, or any other fucking person for that matter, make points about that, about anything to do with the Jews whatsoever, or Zionist Jews or whatever, these are the same fucking people who will turn around and tell you to your face that there's no such thing as Jewish influence in Western society. But then I've just read out that list of what happened to Kanye West, and these are the fucking people that will turn around and say, oh, there's no such thing as Jewish influence. Well, why the fuck is he being banned off of these platforms or these companies, or any of these companies want absolutely fuck all to do with him? If there's no such thing as that type of influence, why is this happening to Kanye West? Or if this were to happen to any other person for that matter? I mean, it only just further proves that he's completely right. Now, speaking of that, let me see if I could find that interview, the Lex Friedman, whatever you want to call it. But and there's one, before we actually watch the stream, of course, or the video, if you want to call it that, the timestamps on that stream. Now, I think people have also pointed this out as well, but the timestamps he listed, this Lex fellow has listed, are just astonishing. Lex Friedman, I think it's Friedman, tried to strong arm him into admitting he's wrong in his interview with Kanye. Yeah, we'll definitely have a look at that at just a moment here. Let me just get my earphones again just real quick and see from there. And then we'll start with that. Along with the Palestinian resistance. Well, I mean, Israel, as we all know, is basically stolen land from the Palestinians anyway, but that's beside the point. Let's have a look at this. Right. let's have a look at this live stream here, and then we'll get started. Right, before we actually watch the stream, as I said, I want to have a look at some of the timestamps because some of them are actually pretty funny in my opinion, but this one is actually incredible. So let's have a look at this. Now, as we all know, live streams can be very long, as we all know that they can be incredibly long. Now, depending on what's being talked about, if there's a certain subject matter that you want to hear both participants or anyone like that to talk about, then they'll just give a timestamp here and there. So let's have a look at this. Here's the outline of the timestamps of what was been talked about during the stream. So introduction, of course, engineering, Kim Kardashian, sex and the future of humanity, happiness, and then the Holocaust. In this section here, this is when he was talking about Kanye's comments about the Jews and all of that. And this motherfucker has the audacity to call it the Holocaust. Unfucking believe these people are unfucking believable. And what's even funny too is that
as we become more technologically savvy.
Hold on. During this part here, this fucking douchebag right here will try and tell Kanye that, oh, well, those people that you're talking about, you can't call them Jews because you're just putting this as like one group. You should call those people individuals or some fucking gay shit like that. The same kind of fucking rhetoric you hear from like civic nationalists like Sargon and all of that. But let's hear it from the horse's mouth, right? Let's hear it from this gentleman right here, and then start from there. Now, I'm not going to play the entirety of the segment. I'm just going to talk about some certain aspects of it here and there. But let's have a look through this and then see from there. So 3, 2, 1.
That, my friend, is why engineering isn't everything. That you have to desperately study the lessons of history. In Nazi Germany, science was used to create atrocities.
Yeah, so right there, he's already starting to plant the seeds and all of that. Like the Nazis, the dreaded Nazis have used engineering to create atrocities. Like, fuck off! I don't think you and your fucking people have any right to talk about that, Lex. Whatever the fuck your name is. I mean, I've already talked about this before, but just look, I'm sure people might have heard about a certain event in history called Holodomor. But I talked about that already, so we'll just move over to this and just continue on to talk about this in a moment here.
Engineering, the same.
Except for one aspect about the Holodomor. 23 million Eastern Europeans died during like the Great Famine, that is the Holodomor, or plus like cannibalism that occurred during that time. But again, we'll just continue on from there with that.
Engineering could be a tool of war.
We are still in the Holocaust. A Jewish friend of mine said, go visit the Holocaust Museum. And my response was, let's visit our Holocaust Museum, Planned Parenthood.
With all due respect, I grew up in the Soviet Union. I'm Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
Parts of my...
Yeah, we can tell from your fucking last name, but okay, maybe the fucking nose, but that's beside the point.
Family perished in the Holocaust of Nazi Germany. I have to push back that there is a difference of the atrocities at that scale, at that time, on an entire people.
I was going to say the number, that's the difference.
It's not the number.
Because 6 million, well, also, African Americans are actually Jew also. The lost tribe of Israel.
Push back on that too.
Okay, so well, everyone came from Africa.
I'm African. I'm basically
no. No. Like, no.
The African American. We're brothers.
And we're both Jew. And we're brothers. So
we're human.
6 million people.
Yeah, just right. I mean, see what you want about that part there, which I know is just cringy as fuck. But you know how as soon as like Kanye said that, well, we're Jews too. Lex can't even fucking accept that point. Which I mean, so that whole narrative right there that we all came from Africa and all of that, like we're all one race, the human race, is entirely fucking bullshit. Because Lex can't even accept the fact that Kanye, well, can't even himself call himself a Jew or say the blacks are also the Jews. Like Lex can't even accept that. What does that fucking tell you exactly there? But anyway,
died in the Holocaust. Over 20 million have died by the hands of abortion, and the media promotes the "my body, my choice," which is actually still a promotion for Planned Parenthood. 50% of Black deaths a year is actually abortion. It's not the cop with the knee. It's not black on black violence and gang violence. It's not heart attacks. It's actually abortion. The most dangerous place for a Black person in America is in their mother's stomach.
There's 900 to 1 million abortions in the United States a year. I hear you. But there's something about the rape, the torture, the murder of children, women, men, the complete humiliation and just the suffering that was endured during World War II.
right, and again, another point to make about like the Holocaust that occurred like during like World War II. Notice how with the Jewish people, especially this Lex fella, when it comes to the stuff that happened in like Auschwitz or whatever, like oh no, that was the Holocaust. Any other horrific events that occurred that you could argue have been just as bad or worse than what occurred during World War II. Well, no, that wasn't a Holocaust. No, this right here is not only just our Holocaust, but this is the Holocaust. It's like, right. I wonder if maybe there's something more to it than that. But you know, again, that's just me being a far right conspiracy theorist, apparently. But anyway.
That's what we deal with on our TVs right now with Black people. Soros would use Black trauma economy to win an election. What I love is having a healthy conversation. And as opposed to, there's certain things, you know, boom, this drops, people going to have pussy hats on. Boom, this drops, it's going to be, you know, Black people and white people with signs. Boom, this drops. So, hey, China, hey, left agenda, hey, what we're going to do is say that our species can have a healthy conversation. Can
I just linger on this? Because when you say Jewish media, there's a echo of a pain that people feel that reminds
you're saying it's redundant, right?
No, I'm not saying it's redundant.
So whenever he hears like Jewish media, does he honestly think he gets like a mini heart attack or something like that? Like, come on now, give me a fucking break.
I'm saying
it's redundant.
You're saying it's redundant.
It's a redundant
I'm saying
statement.
it's something I'm saying that it's something that Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister of Nazi Germany, said. I'm saying it's been said so many times in order to murder and.
By the way, when it comes to I just also, this might be a bit like slightly off topic, but I just want to mention this bit of trivia regarding to the term Nazi. Now, we all know for a fact that back in like before World War II, with the Germany and all of that, where Hitler and of course the National Socialists rose to power, the term Nazi was actually used or coined by the Jewish community because it was a way of trying to make. Of trying to like downplay or trying to vilify them in any way, shape, or form. That's where the term Nazi came from. It actually came from them. So if you want to know where the term Nazi came from, then there you go. I don't know if I might be totally correct on that or maybe slightly off, but that's what I've heard from a documentary called Europa: The Last Battle. But anyway, which is quite an interesting point to make about that. Where exactly does the term actually, you know, but I want to see if I can maybe find. Oh, sorry, I'll come back to this real quick. I want to see if I can maybe find something about that. There was actually something to see. I think Mark again posted something on Gab. I want to see if I can maybe find it again. There's a good clip, and I don't know if people might have seen this clip, but another example of where the term Nazi came from. Again, this clip right here is actually pretty interesting. I'll have a look at this real quick, and then we'll come back on to that clip and then see from there. Hold on a minute, just now. Just like we all came from Africa, so you know. Yeah, so I'm Black. I'm African. Great, that's right, Lex. And we're both Jews. We're brothers. And Lex can't even fucking accept that. But all right. Right, I think you posted it in media. Let me see if I can find that clip. What the hell is going on here? Come on. It was not this video, so if I remember right, it'd be here. All right, let me see if I can find that clip, and then we'll come back onto that video or stream. There it is. Right, this clip here is about 37 seconds long, but we'll have a look at this. The Communist Directive 1943, the label them a Nazi or fascist. Let me see if I can share the screen again. Yeah, exactly. English rules. I'm a victim, yes, but I'm a bigger victim. Exactly. That's basically the it's a Yiddish slur as far as I know. Right, there we go. Let's see if I can. I think I'm sharing the screen again. Yes, I am. Right, that's fine. Let's have a look at this clip. I'm pretty sure people have seen this already, but again, interesting clip nonetheless. Let's have a look at this real quick and then go back onto that video. 3, 2, 1.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable buildups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
There we go. There we go. So it might not entirely be about like the history of where the term Nazi came about, but Bill Lathling, and Nazi was originally derived from, God damn it, when that derived from Ignatius, I think I pronounced it right, and meant a stupid rube. It was later used as a conflation of National Socialist, and like the word commie, it was a derogatory term. Right, there we go. Thank you, Bill, for the clarification with that. I think also Gammon also made a point of that as well. Nazi is a slur invented in the 1930s by German liberal journalists. They used to call socialists sozis. Right, there we go. Excellent. Thank you guys for that. Thank you very much for adding on to what I've said earlier on. Because like I said, I wasn't entirely too sure if I was entirely right on that part, but again, just thought I would make that point real quick. Anyway, let's continue on to Steve Shaw, that's Ashkenazi. That's pretty funny, yeah. Anyway, let's have a look at this again real quick. So again, this whole this cesspool of an interview. You're a victim, but I'm an even bigger victim. Like, yeah, I'm Lex Friedman. Yeah, I'm a Jew. Yeah. Okay, buddy.
Torture Jewish people, that it just rings wrong.
And that's the
just
thing.
like the N word when spoken by people that have the same skin color as me. It reminds people of a very dark time.
I know. If Jewish people would accept that I'm Jew, then they would see what I'm saying in a different way. They would hear it in a different way.
But see, the people, you saying you're Jewish, that
no, I'm Jew, not Jewish. Jewish means like that of a Jew. I'm saying I'm Jew.
You're a Jew.
Blood of Christ.
That
Orthodox
comes from,
Christian.
Right. But are you a follower of the philosophy of the Black Hebrew Israelites? Because that's where the idea comes from. Not all of those folks are extremists, but some are extremists.
I'm a follower of the idea. I have a vague idea that all people came from Africa. But what I wanted to do, now I could Andy Kaufman this about 7 more minutes, and then tell you what it is. What the whole point is.
Let's count 7 minutes.
No,
do less.
I did this to do a spoiler alert.
Sure, spoiler.
What's the first thing I said at the beginning?
We're talking about engineering and humans. We're all
and
human.
I said, and then what did I say we shouldn't focus on?
Race.
Not just that. I said they shouldn't teach this in school.
History.
The history, because what they do, what schools are doing is exactly what the CIA does with Pixar films and Disney films. They make Bambi's mom die in the beginning, right? And off that pain comes a purchase of ice cream. Off that pain comes, I need some more toys. Off that pain comes, I need a bigger house. Off that pain comes, I need more girls than my wife. Off that pain comes, so they put that pain in to make us, now we're the orphans of capitalism, to make us be consumers. And we need to be a community, not just consumers. So I could have went another 7 minutes by being a person who presents himself in a way that says, well, I don't have to feel your pain because I also have pain too that's not being recognized. And in every interview, when I say, well, why did I get to the point of putting up the tweet? No one wants to understand why I got to that point,
You had
right?
pain. You had pain.
Yeah, but no one.
I mean, to be fair, like, he does make a pretty valid point. Like, everyone always condemns the person for making a post or a saying or anything like that at all, but they never seem to. But of course, we all know for a reason why they would never do this, but they never seem to ask, well, how did they actually get to that point? Where was the point in their lives where they got to that point where they started believing in these things that they're saying? But they never do that because they know for a fact that if they were to actually be vocal and actually talk about the real problems we're facing just now, then they'll realize that actually maybe this is actually the problem and this is what needs to be done to fix it. Of course, many of these people who would condemn what Kanye said would never want that to be part of the public's consciousness or anything like that. So.
In your heart. But let's say this. Undoubtedly, Jewish people have a lot of movies about that pain, and Black people have a lot of movies about the pain of slavery, right? It's almost impossible to find a movie about Mansa Musa. When you go to the African History Museum in Washington, D.C., it doesn't start with the idea of Africans being kings. It starts with the idea of Africans being slaves. But here's another interesting point about this. This was said to me one time, and it stuck with me as a family member of mine. With Africans, how many times you've heard like a rapper, talk about we were kings? That's incorrect if we're Jew. If we're Jew, and since we are, we weren't the kings. We were the slaves that Moses freed. Africans have always said, you've listened to rap music and hear Black people say, we kings, we blood of the pharaohs. And if we are Jew, then we weren't. We were the people that Moses freed. And when we talk about, have you heard Black people talk about 400 years of slavery?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That is and we're having this history lesson, right?
I thought history doesn't matter. You're exploring ancient history and drawing deep wisdom from it. And at the same time saying we need to forget all of it. We need to put that behind us.
Absolutely. We need to forget it and we need to move forward.
There's so much wisdom to draw from history, even the 20th century. Look at this, communism. Without the lessons of history of the 20th century, communism sounds like a great idea, except that some of the worst atrocities conducted by Stalin and Mao that killed 50, 100 plus million people, not just killed, tortured, starvation, where people, cannibalism, they ate each other. They ate their children. There's just dark people. People should read some books on this.
Yeah, they definitely should look up that part of history. Again, I'm assuming he's talking about Holodomor, which I don't know if he actually calls it Holodomor, but if he doesn't, it's kind of convenient or pretty too convenient. He doesn't name it the Holodomor. But he's right in what he's saying that all these atrocities that occurred under the Bolshevik regimes and all of that, especially when Stalin was in power. But again, a point to make about that, what ethnicities were those that were the Bolsheviks? I mean, many people from our circles have made this point before. I don't know if I may have made a point about it before, but people like Vladimir Lenin or Lenin, like Trotsky and all of that. I mean, there's a lot of evidence to back up the claim that most of them were Jewish, or at least they were married to some Jews, or maybe they were half Jewish or whatever. But again, really makes you wonder, like the people who are behind these certain atrocities, including Holodomor, which I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. And I don't know if he does name them, but if he doesn't name them, I think that should really paint a picture there, doesn't it? Really should paint a picture there.
Holodomor
See,
in the
Oh, he
1930s.
does.
I disagree.
With that lesson, we would, and now it's becoming more popular. Marxism and communism.
I'm not
becoming more
disagreeing
popular.
that happened. I'm disagreeing that we need to harp on the things that happen, because the truth is, I'm giving a fact. 50% today of, let's say, you don't call black people Jew, right? Black people's deaths today is abortion today, right now. Like that, it's not racism. That's too wide of a term. It's genocide and population control that black people are in today in America, that is promoted by the music and the media that black people make, that Jewish record labels get paid off of, or media companies. Record labels and media company also, so let's give it a wider.
I agree with Martin Luther King. I have a dream too.
Martin
that
Luther
one
King
day
was-
you would not be judged by the color of your skin or your race, black or Jew, but by the content of your character. All the assholes that fucked you over in the music industry, fuck artists over in the music industry, are individuals. They're not Jews.
Individuals.
They are Jewish.
It doesn't. They're human with opportunities, and they took those opportunities. I don't care if they're Jewish.
Do you feel like I
Jew-
should release that pain and separate it?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're saying I should release that pain and separate it, then I'm telling you, you should release your pain and separate it, and we could get to the list of how you are a being with engineering opportunities.
That's 100%. I see what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. The pain, I'm gonna let it go. Engineer.
Do you know, I was thinking about this as well when I first watched this. I wonder if you would actually make these points, or maybe actually have a sit-down conversation with an actual like white nationalist, like someone who actually genuinely believes in white nationalism and what we stand for in terms of, like, see, here in Britain, we believe in the idea that the indigenous people of these islands, the British, being the English, the Scottish, the Welsh, and the Irish, and all of that, are the indigenous people of these islands, and we want them to remain as the majority of the peoples of these islands. Because what we're seeing just now is there's a lot of mass immigration, to the point where some major cities, like London, as a prime example, has been overrun, and the majority of non-whites are the major population of London, to the point people have said that London is no longer an English city anymore. I wonder, stuff like that. Like, not that we would call for actual or any form of hatred whatsoever. As myself and other people have expressed in the past, we're doing this out of love for our countries, love for our people and our history and our culture. I wonder if he would actually sit down and talk to someone like that on his show. I would highly doubt that, because considering the fact that he wouldn't really, I would imagine that maybe it would be the lowest impulse. Low impulse control might overtaken them. Maybe it's to do with like the sponsorships he might possibly lose because he dared to bring like that someone on his show. But I just thought maybe it'd be interesting actually of this guy, this Lax character, might actually talk to someone like that. But I mean, you can only dream when it comes to stuff like that. You can only dream. But anyway,
engineering challenges. I get it. One of the problems you highlight is people get fucked over in the music industry, and get fucked over in the media, get fucked over all over the place.
There was a Jewish trainer that brought me to the hospital and put in press that I went to the hospital. I know friends that off of exhaustion, a Jewish doctor, they diagnosed.
Why do you keep saying Jewish?
Because they were, right? Diagnosed me with bipolar disorder and shot me with medication and put me on medication, then put it in the press. And every time, even if I wore the wrong color hat that a nigger is not supposed to wear, right? Then they immediately say he's off of his shit, he's off his meds, he's off his rocker, and it's literally used as a scarlet letter control mechanism for the people. Understand, the kids, the colleges, the high schools. What do you think they put me right now? They put me as the prophet, not the leader. It doesn't have to be the leader, right? Because we need a more intelligent person to be the leader, but at least, right? They put me as the prophet. They put me as the only person that would say this. And I'm just saying that was 4 Jewish members that controlled my voice, because for the fact that 90% of Black people in entertainment, from sports to music to acting, are in some way tied into Jewish business people, meaning that in some way, just like if Ram is sitting next to Obama or Jared sitting next to Trump, there's a Jewish person right there controlling the country, the Jewish people controlling that who gets the best video or not, controlling what the media says about
It's a
me.
person, not Jewish. Let me just say one thing.
But they are, though. That's the only thing. It just so happens that they are. It just so
You
happens that they are.
saying
That doesn't mean that I hate them.
Yes,
that
yes,
just
yes.
means that they are.
But it's a dog whistle. 2. let me just say, as
it's called a German Shepherd whistle, actually, but that's beside the point.
would love to add more love to the world. I would love you to do that as a person with a big voice, with a big, powerful voice that a lot of people look up to. And when you say Jewish media, it's funny how this world works that way. When you say Jewish media, or Jews are controlling the voice of Black artists, Black people, Black artists, when you say that,
Am I not allowed to say it out loud?
you can say it. There's a large number of people that are hurting and have anger and even have hate in their heart when they hear Jewish media. That hate starts being directed towards the Jewish people. Do you acknowledge that? Do you understand? Can you feel the hate in the world? That's when that comes to the surface when you say stuff like that.
Okay,
I think I'll move on from there. But just before I do, there's actually something I want to maybe show here if I can. I don't know if I've actually have it here. Oh yes, perfect. Right. So I want to maybe show this on the screen if I can get onto my Twitter, because I think this might be an interesting point about this as well. So again, funny how this Lex say like, oh, we need more love in the world and all of that, that type of gay shit. Okay, how about we start off with actually having people live in their ancestral or even their ethnic homelands, and that way people can actually prosper there, especially when it comes to someone like Lex, being Jewish and all of that. I mean, you think that they would go back to their homeland of Israel. I mean, as I said, despite the fact it's basically stolen land from the Palestinians, but if they have their own homeland, then they can go back to there if they want to. But again, they don't want to do that because they want to keep controlling the Western countries and then try to subvert everything that makes us who we are. But anyway, just to finish off that point, here's a graphs that prove Kanye West is wrong about the Jewish media, quote unquote. Well, wrong about that, quote unquote. Here we have like CNN, which I believe is owned by like Time Warner or like Turner Media, I believe it is, or something like that. I don't know if maybe the screen might do it justice or anything like that, but again, maybe if I can try and zoom in if I can. But you see all the reporters, all the people behind let's see, and then all of that, as you see here, you'll notice that they got a certain star over there. That's the Star of David. So that's one image. It's not the only one. Here's CBS News. So the blue star is meant to be saying like they're Jewish, but then there's the light blue or aqua colored Jewish star, which says their Jewish spouse. So I think there's maybe like a couple of them that are there. But again, that's another example. Here's one from the New York Times. Again, same thing. Quite a running pattern here. And lastly, NPR, which I think that's still like a news organization, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe something to that fact. But again, you'll notice here the similar pattern. Oh, but just don't worry, folks. There's no such thing as Jewish influence in Europe or media or anything like that at all. There's definitely not, nothing like that. Indeed. Anyway, I'll come back to here real quick. So, anyway. Oi, V Chief, stop noticing factual things. Like BP Jordy, I just can't help it. I'm sorry. Like it's all based on of just what I've seen, and I'm just somebody who just tells the truth here over and over again. So I'm sorry, but I'm just a lot of individuals. Yes, a lot of individuals behind these organizations. But anyway. Let us control our own media and institutions and problem solved. Indeed, I agree. You can all go live happily ever after in Madagascar. Ah, dear. Let's see. Let's see here. It's a big business. Yeah, it can be a big business. Yeah. Stop. The echoes are shaking my tablet. Yeah. George Soros, Klaus Schwab, Victoria Nuland. Yeah, indeed. All are part of the tribe. No asshole, they're Jewish. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this coping. Well, it's not even really like a cope because we all know for a fact that he knows he's full of shit when he's saying that. It's all just this idea of we should embrace individuality and all of that. Which of course, if he were, he would definitely apply that to a white person. But I can't remember who said it in the chat earlier, but it was clearly a sign that he was trying to strong arm Kanye into like apologizing for what he said about the Jewish community. But once again, these are the same people who will turn around and say that there's no such thing as like that type of influence in these institutions or organizations or anything like that at all. But anyway, Karl Marx, yes, Lenin, Trotsky, Vladimir Lenin. Funny enough, when it comes to Karl Marx, I remember I was watching a stream by Charming Man 1990 or 93 or Mitch. He was one of those like Sipnat types, like Sargonites or whatever you want to call them. He was calling me an idiot because I dared to write something in his chat that Karl Marx was Jewish. And of course, he was given the same spiel about Karl Marx was not Jewish. He said really nasty things about the Jews. It's like he's Jewish, his dad was Jewish, and his grandfather was Jewish. In fact, his grandfather, I think it was his grandfather, was a fucking rabbi. So, and the whole thing of why Karl Marx said that about the Jews was just so he can get close to the people who are calling the people who like white people for calling the people who are behind all the problems that was going on at that time. So they could be very, very sneaky people when it comes to that. Very, very smart people regarding to that. But Friedman is constantly trying to sentimentalize the subject and everything. Kanye says, "Get on track." Yeah, yeah. Communist Jew. Yeah. So with that, so there's more comments coming through. To sum it up, they own everything. Nearly, yes, indeed. They're just individuals, bro. That's gonna be like a meme. Yeah, they're just individuals, bro. Well, I don't know if it might come to the point where we can't even say individuals anymore because that might come off as anti-Semitic. But I mean, if they said globalist is an anti-Semitic phrase, then I wouldn't be surprised if individuals might be given the context, I would imagine that might become an anti-Semitic word or anything like that. But I don't know of any other race who changes their names and tries to hide their race and ethnicity as much as the tribe. Karl Marx Rothschild, cousin Karl Marx's wife, was heiress to Philips Electoral Company in Holland. So much for the working class. Yes, indeed. Gotta go, Biggest. Keep in touch. Brutally Remaster, thank you very much for watching the Mood of the Nation. Hope to see you again in the chat someday. I think what we'll do is, I know Wesley is, don't mention the H word. Okay. I think what we'll do is North London elite is now antiseptic. Oh dear. I think what we'll do is, I know Wesley is live at the moment with his show Renew Britannia on DLive and also Odysee. I think what we'll do is for the last maybe 5 or 10 minutes, we'll just do like a quick Q&A. So if there's any questions you guys would like to ask me, just fire away your questions, and then we'll end the show at 7:30, or just roughly around about 7:30. We'll just call it a night and then see from there. And while I wait for the questions coming in, I'm gonna see if I can get up the links for Wesley's stream. So once the stream comes to an end tonight, you can head on over to Wesley's stream, Renew Britannia, just now if you guys want to. Let me just get the links for his Odysee and DLive. 1 second here. Don't need that. Open and close that. So here's Wesley's Odysee, and lastly, Wesley's DLive. That should be up and running, ready to go there. Perfect. All right. That's almost 50 people watching the show tonight. That's actually excellent. Thank you guys very much for your continued support. Greatly appreciate everyone coming along. I don't know if tonight's episode will might be a bit too spicy, but I'm sure it won't be like that bad. But anyway, so no worries, no worries. Just want to see if because I keep seeing a lot more people have actually. Oh, 1 second. So this supposedly another follower on my right. Okay. All right, right, interesting. Okay, I don't know if it's something to do with that. All right, fine, fair enough. Streaky Bacon. Let's see. Have you ever done a double-decker bus down a massive ramp and tried jumping over 20 Deliveroo mopeds? I can't say I have, Streaky Bacon. I can't say I have, to be honest with you. So, I don't know. Even with that being said, I don't know if I'll do that one day, but that will definitely be a challenge. But anyway, but thank you for that question, Streaky Bacon. Thank you very much for that. Please feel invited to like the stream and support this channel. Indeed, thank you very much, English Rose, for pointing or making that comment. Greatly appreciate that. I'm just checking to see if anyone else has shared the stream on Telegram. That's where I normally see that going about on it, but I don't think I've seen anything like that whatsoever. Which, all right, interesting. But even the Rothschilds went by another name, Bauer, I think, until Mayor Amschel Rothschild changed it while working for the Oppenheimers. Excellent. It's great, Chief, hearing them squashed to death. Oh, God damn it, Streaky Bacon. No. Oh, dear. Tiamat. Okay, that's fine. Hoping to have more questions coming through. If not, I'll see if I can. I'll probably just end the stream there, and then people could just head on over to Wesley's stream. I think it may be. I'm trying to think who else who'll be live this evening. Maybe John Davidson might be live. I think is it the National Housing Party that will do or any NHP UK. Will they be live actually? Now that I think of that. 1 second. NHP. That's not it. Damn it. Because I did see. Oh, right. So if you're interested, even with this, NHP UK TV are live just now. So what I'll do is I'll quickly put the link to that, and then of course we'll see if people can have a look at that as well. Yeah, John Davison is on later. Perfect. We are not allowed to share your stream on PA Wales anymore. We got blocked as is only for Welsh activism, apparently. Oh, that's interesting, Joe. Huh. That's a bit of that's news to me, Joe. I don't know about that, but anyway. Let's see. Thoughts on NEREF 2 and who you think will win? Well, I've been thinking about that for a while, Rick and Mortis, to be fair, when it comes to the NEREF 2. At this point in time, I would not want. Well, it's kind of weird because, like, I kind of do want Scotland to be independent, but I don't. With that being said, I don't want. I do not want. I don't want the SNP involved in any way, shape, or form. Because look, let's just be honest here, right? If the SNP, well, we all know why the SNP want us to be independent, so that we can go back to being part of the European Union. And I think if that were to happen, then the SNP would just sell us out completely by completely opening the border and having more of these immigrants come into the country. So, my short, sweet with that, I don't support IndyRef 2. I would want Scotland to be independent, but not under the SNP rule, because, as I said, the SNP would definitely sell Scottish people completely. So, Joe Marsh, I don't know who said it. Apparently, there's some autistic fuckers who decided that what we can post on pages, or who decide what we can post on pages. All right, interesting. All right. Well, let me just see if I can get this up in a moment here. I want to see if I can open up this, and then I'll see if I can post a link for this stream if anyone's interested. I know Professor Edward Duttonson is, Duttonson, fuck me, Edward Dutton is live at the moment. So if you want to check him out, then you can if you want to. Just get the link for that, and then head on over if you want to. Let's see. The SNP would immediately drag you back into the EU, so no chance of real independence. Exactly. Yeah, I know. If the SNP's example of wanting us to become independent, it wouldn't exactly be independence, because again, we would definitely go back to the European Union, which just completely defeats the whole purpose of being an independent nation. But all right. So that's the link I posted for Professor Edward Dutton stream.
Leaflet in there.
If you're interested,
cost 600.
And again, if you are interested, check out NHP UK stream. Again, if you're interested with that, of course, with that. Toffee, Chief, would you stop stream cucking yourself? We want to watch you, mate. That's fair enough. Well, thank you very much, Toffee. I greatly appreciate that. I just thought, I'm just about to end the show in a couple of minutes anyway, so if people want to check those out, then they can if they want to with that. What time is it anyway? They are just approaching towards the end anyway with that, approaching 7:30. Right then, so I think I'll just end the stream there. No one deserves the SNP. Yeah, nobody. Not a single person deserves the SNP, definitely. So I think with that being said, I'll just end the stream there. An update. So as I said, I'm going to be going away this weekend, but I'll be back, I think, Sunday evening. I'm not entirely too sure. Oh, hold on a sec. Chief Rooney, now that Rishi is in power, do you think you should use the word vindaloo rather than spicy? Good question, Rory. That's a really good question, because of the political climate where everything too politically correct and all of that, especially now that Rishi Sunak is the Prime Minister of Great Britain. I mean, I'll continue on to use spicy. I don't know how people would would get confused of the two or anything like that, as if there was any correlation between the two or anything like that at all, except maybe the one correlation being a chicken tikka masala. But anyway, that's beside the point. Anyway, that being said, I'll end the stream here. I'll be back on Monday, which will be the 31st of October, which means it's going to be the Halloween episode, which I can't wait for that. Free poppadoms for every household. That's pretty funny. That anyway. So yes, I will be. Oh, wait a minute. Mark Drakeford and Labour in Wales or the SNP. Which would you rather have, Chief Brady? Oh God, I don't think I would have either or, to be honest. But I think, to answer Bill's question, this will be the last question I'll answer, and then I'll end the stream there. I think to answer that, I would probably pick SNP, to be honest. I mean, I would rather not pick the two, but if I had to pick one of the two, I would pick SNP. From what I've heard about Mark Drakeford and Labour in Wales, are just a complete nightmare. I mean, look, say what you want about, there's not really much of a difference. Yeah, you're right, Steve Shaw, but they really just hate the English, just because they can when it comes to that. So, I mean, with the SNP, at least they kind of not celebrate it, but they participate in respecting Queen Elizabeth II. Again, regardless of what you think about her and the rest of the monarchy, and respecting King Charles, I think it is. He's now the King of Great Britain, but anyway, neither here or there. So with that being said, I'm now going to end the stream now. So I'll be back on Monday with the Halloween episode of episode 120, I think it will be. That's, as I said, October 31st. That's going to be the Halloween episode. Now, with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised at some point. I'll even mention this again on that episode. There's going to be a lot of knocking at the door because maybe some trick-or-treaters with that. But I'll be back on Monday before Tea Time with Sam and Laura. So I'll be streaming at 5 p.m. I'll mention this in the Telegram chat as well. And then I will start covering the Darrell Brooks Jr. case next week. Maybe be like a part 1 or something like that, but I'll see with that in this case. But with that being said, I'll keep you guys updated on Telegram and other platforms. If you follow me on there, definitely follow me on all these other platforms if you can. And yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. So I want to thank you all once again for coming along. I greatly appreciate your ongoing support. And I'm going to see if I can maybe find an outro song to play us out with. Now, never really give it much of a thought. What song to I wonder to play us out with. Let me see. You know what? I don't know if this song might be a bit out of place for tonight, but I mean, it's a song I've been listening to for quite a long while, or well, not a long while, but a bit of a while now. So, don't know if people might have heard of this gem, but I've constantly been listening to this song over and over again. And what I'll do is I'll pause it and definitely use it as the outro song for tonight. And hopefully, people will appreciate this song. But yeah, so anyway. I'm going to be going along. So again, thank you all very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. Check out all the other streams that are on just now. And that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Chief Moody signing out. You've been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast. And I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. And I'll see you all on Monday with the Halloween episode. Take care and stay safe. Good night. Thank you.
I came out on the streets were hot, man. Oh, man. Fucking Brits were watching. They were waiting. I'm not going to be a Tonka Saw type motherfucker. And if I get beat, I get beat. You know, I'm not going to. But we'll see if it happens. They're waiting for me to drop. And I did. Drop like a bitch. I'm about as confident in the ring as a pin with his knees flapping his wings. I think I'll pay a visit to the gym. King said I ain't made for this, but I ain't lifting a weight until pay pigs pay for it. Spend a paycheck on makers and painkillers for my fakes. Every time I get a plane bake, jealous. Dude, what kind of world is it where 2 little girls can lay out the underage gay rapist? You think you'll get away with it? And I will swear, spit and pray, you get AIDS from it. Yeah, keep an eye out. These Portuguese racists make my eyes looking at 2 different places. Damn, my face is clearly aware what a 5-star base is. Don't ask what my weight is, because you would think by the way that my face hit the pavement, I was weightless when a rage pick comes back like a sadist. Knock the fuck out and repeat and replay it. Shots to the face, pop in my anus. Drop harder than the latest. Gun playlist. Shout out to my ladies, my unwanted babies with AIDS. Let's take it back to the 80s. These bitches who hate me may remember to take the shot for the rabies, okay? Next time that a motherfucker steps to me to give a rage pick a hysterectomy, getting topped on the curb like a re-release. I won't cry for no police. And next time that a motherfucker screams and I'm quivering like a bitch on my goddamn knees. Somebody please. And next time believe I won't cry for no police. Yeah, I was assaulted by Grip Bong from the witness of consensual Burger King club for being a public figure. That's why I picked on either that or for my mic or Scott picked on. But the clips is out there and the top pick's done. Ain't got no competition, no contest, son. This bitch is gonna have me paying child support for the rest of my life. All 6 months, so TikTok doesn't sound like the clock. TikTok, how much time do you figure we got before we get a video released on TikTok? With my tongue wrapped around the vicious Vickers cock. Jarbo's probably gonna put out a hit song about how I took a shit in my fucking pink thong. Second, I saw a Kong with his friend King Kong. Diabetic socks were perfect to bring along. Now he's playing basketball with my skull. Yo, I look so masterful as I fall. Damn it, Masterson dog, answer the call. You broke now, bitch. Your hands or your balls. plus the whole fucking farm's up in arms. Getting sucked Fuentes, ball sack or knob. You see, just a relentless force to get knob. Stop riding the damn horse with no card. Next time that a motherfucker steps to me to give a rage thing, a hysterectomy, getting chopped on the curb like a re-release. I won't cry for no poke police. And next time that a motherfucker screams, I'm quivering like a bitch on my goddamn knees. Somebody please. But the next time, believe I won't cry for no poke police, bitch.
Come here, little gun shit, you don't scare. Oh yeah, you're prepared cause you're gonna get bare. Solid punches to the face from Dan, he's here. 5-star days, bits soon, we in the streets. We're going on a gun hunt, everyone aware. As you're there to go live and you know that we're there. It's gonna play fair, maybe laugh and stare at your man person diabetic socks that you wear. You got thin skin and 4-inch lips. You do look 5'1" to me, bitch. Watch as you bleed, as you scream for police. Watch you spit it down as you ask for the beats.
Bitch, I keep it 100.
How you gonna keep it when Dan uppercuts your teeth through the ceiling? Thumbed your face like you thumbed Faith, cause Ralph ain't gonna pay for the kids that he's made.
The next time that a motherfucker steps to me to give a rage thing, a hysterectomy, getting chopped on the curb like a re-release. I won't cry for no poke police. The next time that a motherfucker screams, I'm quivering like a bitch on my goddamn knees. Somebody please. But the next time, believe I won't cry for no poke police. I'm not gonna be a Tonka Saw type motherfucker. I'll show up. It's much more cowardly to not show up. Jesus Christ, like that's just pathetic. I would never do that ever.
Worski.